Hello and welcome to Art Song Notes. My name is Cara Alfano. Today we're going to be taking a look at Gabriel Fauré's mysterious chanson, Le Secret, with poetry by Armand Sylvestre. Now, as so many art songs are, this is a song about love, particularly about the phases of a secret romantic love. Now, in today's video, I'm going to take you through the pronunciation of the French text and then read you an English translation. And then we'll take a little time talking about the meaning of that translation. We'll take a look at how the text and the music composition work so well together to make this beautiful piece. And then I'll leave you with some vocal technique tips that will help you work through some of the challenges that Le Secret has to offer. So let's get started with that pronunciation. Je veux que le matin l'ignore le nom que j'ai dit à la nuit et qu'au vent de l'aube son bruit comme une larme il s'évapore. Je veux que le jour le proclame, l'amour qu'au matin j'ai caché, et sur mon cœur ouvert penché, comme un grain d'encens il enflamme. Je veux que le couchant l'oublie, le secret que j'ai dit au jour, et l'emporte avec mon amour, au pli de sa robe pâlie. And now I will read you an English translation of that French text as found in this fantastic book called A French Song Companion. This is by Graham Johnson and Richard Stokes. This is a fantastic book. I fully recommend that you get this book and have it in your music library because it is full of fabulous translations and fabulous historical facts about some fabulous French composers. All right, so here is that English translation. Would that the morn were unaware of the name I told to the night, and that in the dawn breeze, silently, it would vanish like a tear. Would that the day might proclaim it, the love I hid from the morn, and poised above my open heart like a grain of incense kindle it. Would that the sunset might forget the secret I told to the day, and would carry it and my love away in the folds of its faded robe. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the meaning of this text. So as I mentioned before, this text talks about the phases of a secret romantic love, and it splits up those phases into three parts. Now, there's a few pairings of words that I want to draw your attention to as we talk about these three phases. So in the first stanza of the music, the words I want you to focus on are le matin and l'ignore, which mean morn and unaware in English. In the second stanza, I want you to take a look at le jour and proclame, meaning day and proclaim. And then in the third stanza, focus on le couchant and l'oubli, meaning sunset and forget. So in the first stanza, as we're thinking about the words le matin, l'ignore, morning and unaware, you're talking about the morning and asking that the morning is hopefully not aware of this secret crush. Now, when you're having this crush, there's all these feelings of excitement and a little bit of anxiety because there's so much hopefulness as to what could maybe come of these romantic feelings. Well, by the second stanza, when we're into the daytime period of this poetry and of this song, you now feel very open to proclaim your love for this crush. And you are just full of energy and joy and light. But by the evening, the passion felt during the daytime has now fizzled and now has burned itself out. And you're asking the memory of that love to be carried away as the sun sets, and carried away by the fading folds of the color in the sky. So what does this text mean to you, a singer in the 21st century? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had a secret crush on somebody before? Felt that hopefulness and a little bit of that nervous anxiety? And then the secret of that crush gets out and you and this person decide to pursue a relationship and it's going really well for a while, but then it stops going so well and you get to a point where you wish you could just forget that you had a crush on this person in the first place. Well, that in a nutshell is what Le Secret is all about. So now that we've talked about the meaning of the text, let's see how the text and the musical composition of the song work so well together to create something that is beautiful. First of all, I think one of the most notable musical characteristics of Le Secret is found in the piano accompaniment, and that is the fact that it moves almost entirely by quarter note chords. The piano part is not busy at all. It's not very thick harmonically or rhythmically. And it's pretty simple. To me, it almost sounds like a tiptoe. Now, add to that the fact that the vocal line moves primarily in a stepwise fashion, and that really helps to give that image of tiptoeing. The song is just very measured and very calculated sounding, much in the same way that a person would be if they are holding a secret. Now, when we start off in the first stanza, you will see that both the voice and the piano are to be at a piano dynamic level. So this withholding of the fullness of the vocal sound and the fullness of the piano mirrors the withholding of the secret. Now, when we get to the second stanza, there is a vast difference in the approach of the singer and the piano. The singer enters at a forte dynamic level, and the piano starts to have slightly more richer harmonic chords. Then the dynamic level immediately drops to piano or soft on the words l'amour comme un danger caché. And then excitement then starts to rise again through the rest of this very short stanza until the last word of l'enflamme, which may foreshadow the cooling off of the love affair as we head toward the end of the day in that third stanza. So when we get to that third stanza, we begin pianissimo. But then it quickly grows back to a forte dynamic level on the phrase le secret que j'ai dit au jour. The harmonic structure of the chords revert back to how they were in the first stanza, which was fairly simple and uncomplicated. And then when the song ends, we come back down to that pianissimo dynamic marking. So as we see, Fauré distinctly directed the singer and the pianist as to how to convey the meaning of the words through the dynamic levels and through the piano's harmonic and rhythmic textures. So now I'm going to give you some vocal technique tips that will help you work through some of the challenges that Le Secret might put forth. Now, I believe that there are three main challenges that Le Secret holds for the singer, and they are the following. Number one, How to keep every phrase energized and well supported from beginning to end. Number 2, how to keep a consistent core to the tone, no matter what the dynamic level you are instructed to be singing. And number 3, vowel precision combined with legato line. Now, here are some practical actions that you can take to help conquer these challenges. Number 1, warm up your breath. I'm going to give you a specific breath warm-up that you can do that will help you focus on both the inhalation and the exhalation of the breath. And it consists of this. You're going to inhale for 3 counts, and on a shh, release the breath over 20 counts. Then you're going to inhale for 2 counts and release the breath on a shh over 20 counts. And then inhale for 1 count and release the breath on a shh for 20 counts. So let's you and I try this together. I'm going to take my hands, put them on the lower part of the rib cage here, and I'm going to take my breath in for 3 counts. And then inhale for 2. And inhale for 1. And breathe in. Now, vocal technique tip number 2 has to do with practicing phrases on lip trills, tongue trills, buzzy Z's, or buzzy V's. You can choose what you want to do or experiment with all 4 of them. So let's say I was going to try a buzzy Z sound. Let me show you what I mean by that. Starting at the very beginning. So you try it with the Z, the V, tongue trill, or lip trill. Now, vocal technique tip number 3 has to do with lip trills and tongue trills again. Now what I would encourage you to do is practice singing the phrases on one of those kinds of trills, but now obeying the dynamic markings that are in the score. This will help you learn what kind of breath support you need to support a sound that is piano or forte or pianissimo. Let me show you what I mean by this by taking a look at the music in the second stanza. So starting off with forte. So you could hear and see the difference between the forte singing and the piano singing. Now, just a little side note. In this song, I would really recommend taking a highlighter and highlighting all the different dynamics because the dynamics are changing all the time. And so you want to make sure that you really catch all of them and then you are implementing them all in your singing. Now, vocal technique tip number 4. After you've practiced your breath warm-ups and you've tried lip trills and tongue trills and your buzzy Z's and your buzzy V's, then try singing the vocal phrases on an oo vowel or an o vowel, and still do this at the specified dynamic levels of each one of the phrases. Now, let me just remind you, as you sing up into the higher parts of your voice on those higher notes, don't forget to modify your vowels. All right, vocal technique tip number 5. Practice speaking the French text apart from the music in an exaggerated and elongated fashion. So if you recall at the beginning of this video, I went through the pronunciation of the French text, and I did this in that exaggerated and elongated fashion. Well, I would encourage you to practice doing that as well because it's going to help you be more precise with your vowel formations, and it will help you with legato line. And then lastly, finally, your last vocal technique tip is that you should make sure you have a deep understanding of the text. Know what you are singing about. Know what each phrase is about. I would really love for you to know what every single individual word is and means. Because if you as a singer have a deep, thorough knowledge of what you are singing, then you are going to connect with it more emotionally. And when you connect with the music more emotionally, your breath support will get better, your vocal tone color will get better, everything will get better, and you'll have a sound and performance that is more believable and more authentic. So if you practice these vocal technique tips that I've offered you, that should help you in overcoming some of the challenges of le secret. I do recommend, though, that you work with a trusted voice teacher who can give you feedback along the way. Thank you for joining me here on Art Song Notes today. I hope you found the information provided in this video to be helpful in your study of le secret. If so, then check out some of the other videos here on this channel, and of course I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Until next time, happy singing!